All right. Thank you, Anna, for this warm welcome. Thank you, everybody, for having me here tonight. This is insanely cool, 12 minutes to tell a story. We are just 90 minutes away from high energy, health, and happiness. And to prove to you that this is true, let me tell you a quick story from one of my coaching clients. Around 4 months ago, a guy, a senior partner from a big consulting company, came to me and said, "Chris, I have a problem. I wake up exhausted and tired every single day. Can you help me?" And now you might say, okay, consultants don't sleep much, so no wonder that he's tired. But this guy was quite up in the hierarchy, and he managed to sleep 7 to 8 hours almost every day. And but still he felt like a zombie every single morning, okay? And this is quite interesting because he follows the mainstream sleep advice from the National Sleep Foundation that says people, adults between 26 and 64 years should sleep 7 to 9 hours, okay? And that's exactly what he's doing. But still he feels groggy and exhausted every single day. So what we always do when we start a personal coaching is we get an Aura ring. Does anybody know this Aura ring? Some of you, it's a tracker, probably the most accurate tracker on the market right now. Tracks all the relevant sleep and recovery data and these things, a wonderful app behind. And a few days later, we analyzed the data, and it was a complete disaster. Complete disaster. So what's going on here? And to give you a little bit more details and the root cause of this problem, I want to introduce you into the wonderful and magical science of deep sleep. Has anybody seen a chart like this, how we sleep? Hands up? Yes. So we all sleep in sleep cycles. And every sleep cycle is 90 minutes. And if we get 5 of them, we sleep around 7.5 hours. That's why people say 7.5 hours is a good time, okay? And let's dig a little deeper into one of these cycles, and then we can see that we sleep in 3 different stages. We have Rem sleep, rapid eye movement, where we dream, then we have light sleep, and then we have deep sleep. And let's zoom in even deeper into this deep sleep stage, because there's a lot of wonderful things happening in this stage, okay? And I could talk a whole day about deep sleep. This is one of my passions. But I want to pick out the 3 most important ones. Number 1 is in deep sleep, we grow. Our body releases a hormone that's called human growth hormone, HGH. HGH, and this hormone is kind of like the elixir to live a great life. We get more energized, we perform better, cognitive, physically, even sexually. We are fitter, we're leaner, we're stronger, and even our aging process slows down with this hormone. And here's the thing. The release of human growth hormone only happens in deep sleep. Not when we're awake, not when we're in Rem sleep or in light sleep, only in deep sleep, okay? Keep this as a brain tattoo for this talk. The second thing that happens during deep sleep is brain detox. We have a system in our brain that's called the glymphatic system, and this system is kind of like responsible to wash away the toxic proteins that we have. So when we think during the day, we produce toxic proteins, and the glymphatic system is responsible to wash it out during the night. It's kind of like the waste removal of our brain. And it's quite simple. When this glymphatic system is in great shape, we have a clean brain. If we don't have a good glymphatic system, we have a problem. Because the scientific link is very, very clear right now that not washing away these toxic proteins increases our risk for Alzheimer's disease significantly. All right. And the third thing that I want to tell you about deep sleep is that we get a significant immune dope. So on this chart, the big pink ball you see is a cell that we don't want to have in our body. Could be a virus cell or even a cancer cell or whatever. And the blue little friends here are those cells who are responsible to get rid of them, okay? So they are called natural killer cells, NK cells. And these NK cells are kind of like the bodyguards of our body, quite literally. And scientists conducted a very simple experiment. They took a group of people and made them sleep just 4 hours for one night. Just one night, not a week or a year, one night. And then they analyzed how the NK cells developed. Now, give me an estimation. What do you think after one night of 4 hours of sleep, what happened to the NK cells? Did they grow, drop? Give me a number. Sorry? 100, that's a little bit much, but 70%. They drop by 70% with just one night, okay? So basically, you run around unprotected. Now you might say this doesn't matter if I get a flu, I get some medicine or whatever, but this is also the case for more dangerous cells like cancer cells and the precursors of those. So the scientific link between these developments and the cancer risk is so strong that the World Health Organization classified any kind of nighttime shift work as a potential carcinogen, meaning that it really causes cancer. So this is really serious stuff. This is only a few things what happened during deep sleep. Now you might ask, how much deep sleep do I need to let all this magic happen? How much? And when I first learned the answer to this question, I was really extremely fascinated and inspired and excited, because it's really not that much. It is 1.5 hours. Just 1.5 hours, which is not really much, right? So I think we always ask the wrong question. We ask ourselves, do we need to sleep 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 hours? But this is the wrong question. The right question is, how long do I have to sleep to get 1.5 hours of deep sleep? This is the only question that counts, okay? And to answer this question, I want to go even deeper into the sleep cycles, because what we've seen is a sleep cycle is 90 minutes, but the share of deep sleep within a cycle changes overnight. In the first cycle, we have a very large share of maybe 40 minutes, then it gets to 30 minutes, 20 minutes. And the result of this is, if you have a healthy sleep architecture, there is no deep sleep in the last cycle. So you could even sleep 6 hours, get 90 minutes of deep sleep, and you're done. But this is theory. The reality for most people looks like this. We call it junk sleep. Could have many, many reasons why we don't get this 90 minutes of deep sleep. Could be stress, could be a wrong nutritional setup, could be environmental things. The reality is that most people don't get this number. So let's get back to our client. To give you more insights. So we measured the data. The total sleep was more than 7 hours, 40 minutes, and he had 2 minutes of deep sleep. 2 minutes! He didn't believe the data, so we stepped up the game and put an electrocardiogram on his body, which is really medical standard and measures the truth, and the results were even worse. It's less than 1 minute, okay? So, how many hours would this client have to sleep to get 90 minutes is a fun question, of course. This is 700 hours or 29 days, which is just impossible. So think about what about his human growth hormones, about his lymphatic system, about his NK cells. They are basically not existent. And this is really the explanation why people don't think he's 42 but 52, and that he's always ill and doesn't get rid of his flus. That's the explanation. So we don't have a sleep crisis like all the media and all the gurus tell us. We have a deep sleep crisis. It's a very important thing, because not getting enough deep sleep makes us stupid, ill, fat, and old. And we live in survival mode and not in growth mode like we want to be, okay? So what's the solution to this? It's not sleeping longer. We can't sleep 29 days in one day, right? So what's the solution? And the solution is Deep sleep densification. It's a sleep strategy that densifies our sleep and maximizes the deep sleep without sleeping a single second longer. It's kind of like high-intensity training. Anybody knows high-intensity training? HIIT? Right, we focus on the juicy stuff and get rid of the breaks and the things that we don't need. That's exactly the same for sleep. Okay, and it looks like this. In this case, we get 7 hours of sleep, 127 minutes, and you see a really long deep sleep stage right at the beginning. So, and even if you catch an early flight, you have to get up at 4:45. You're done because before 2 a.m. you already accumulated 90 minutes of deep sleep. That's deep sleep densification in action. This also works if you have to work for late, if you have a newborn kid. So we don't have so much time to sleep, and deep sleep densification really is the solution to this. Now the question is how, right? And the whole approach would take too long for the last 1 minute, but let me give you 3 quick wins. Number 1 is wear blue light blockers 2.5 hours before you sleep. Number 2 is get 2 hours of daylight if you don't have the time because you're in the office or live in Europe like we all do. Get a daylight lamp on next to your screen for 2 hours before lunch. And the third one, and probably the most important, get up at the same time every day, including the weekends. And I know this isn't easy. It's simple, but not always easy. But believe me, it's really worth the effort because it doesn't matter how crazy the world around us is. If you get 90 minutes of deep sleep per night, you've really cracked the code for high energy, great health, and ongoing happiness. Thank you very much.